Once upon a time, in a house not so far from here, there lived a Chow Chow. It was a large dog with a big blocky head, wrinkly eyes, and a blue-black tongue that lolled out happily when he panted. The Chow Chow loved nothing more than to eat. Every morning he would scarf down his breakfast and then beg for seconds. And every evening he would do the same thing at dinner time. One evening, however, something strange happened. Dinner time came, but the Chow Chow's bowl was empty. He barked once, twice, 3 times, but his humans didn't seem to hear him, so he did something they couldn't ignore. He got up on his hind legs and stood by the door leading to the kitchen, pacing back and forth. Back and forth he went, whining and sighing dramatically, until finally his humans came to see what all the commotion was about. "What's wrong, boy?" asked his human. "Where's my dinner?" barked the Chow Chow, pointing his nose toward the kitchen. But instead of getting the food he wanted, he got a stern talking to. "You've already had breakfast and lunch," said his human. "It's not dinner time yet. Go lie down." And with that, the Chow Chow's human left the room. The Chow Chow slumped down on his bed, his tail between his legs. But just then, a sleek grey cat sauntered into the room. She had been watching the entire episode from atop the bookshelf, and now she flicked her tail back and forth slowly as she approached the dejected dog. "Well, well, looks like someone isn't getting dinner," she purred. "And if you'll excuse me, I have an appointment with the food bowl." With that, she trotted out of the room, leaving the Chow Chow feeling humiliated and hungry. He watched as she entered the kitchen and lapped up the contents of his bowl, without even waiting for his humans to come back. The cat had won this round, but the Chow Chow wasn't about to let her beat him again. As soon as his humans entered the kitchen, he got up on his hind legs and barked furiously, jumping up and down until they put some food in his bowl, and then he ate it all in one sitting, every last morsel. But that still didn't satisfy him. In fact, he felt even hungrier than before. He whined and paced, and tried everything he could to get his humans to give him more. But they just shook their heads and told him no. So he did something desperate. He got up on the counter and started eating the cat's food. This time, though, she was prepared for him. The cat jumped up on the counter and hissed fiercely, swiping at the dog with her claws. The Chow Chow yelped and backed away, allowing the cat to snatch a bite of his food and then run away with it. He chased after her, snatching the food right out of her mouth, and the 2 animals wrestled over it until it was completely finished. But even after all that, the Chow Chow still felt hungry. And when he looked into his bowl, he saw that the cat had eaten all of his dry food. This time, his humans noticed how upset he was and gave him some more food, but even that wasn't enough. He wanted more and more and more, and since his humans weren't around to give it to him, he decided to go find it himself. He slipped out the doggy door and started exploring the neighborhood, but he didn't find any food, so he turned around and headed back home. When he got there, though, he found that the cat had gotten inside first and was curled up sleeping in his bed. This made the Chow Chow even angrier than before. "How dare she take his bed too?" he growled fiercely, and the cat opened her eyes lazily. "Oh, hey there, big guy," she purred sweetly. "Did you come to say hi?" "No," he snarled, baring his teeth. "I want my revenge. I'm gonna steal your food and take over your bed." And with that, he lunged. But the cat was too quick for him. She dodged out of the way and landed on the floor, where she began batting at the dog's face with her paws. The Chow Chow yelped and backed away, shaking his head to get rid of the stinging sensation in his eyes. "Stop it, you little," he snapped. But the cat just kept coming at him, scratching and clawing until he ran out of the house and hid under a bush outside. He stayed there for a long time, feeling sorry for himself and wondering if he would ever get another meal. But eventually, he got hungry enough to try his luck at finding food somewhere else. He sniffed around in the bushes, but didn't find anything. So he moved on, trotting down the street and looking for scraps people might throw out. But the whole time, he could hear the cat's taunting laughter echoing in his ears. "You can't catch me, big guy," she called out. "You're too slow." "Shut up," he snapped back. "I'm going to find some food, and then I'm going to come back and get you." But the cat just kept laughing, and the Chow Chow knew she was right. He was too slow and clumsy to catch her. He was big and strong, sure, but he also lacked the agility and grace that made the cat such a formidable opponent. Plus, he was hungry, and his stomach was making loud growling noises that drew attention from passers-by. If he didn't do something quickly, he would end up getting a stern talking to from someone who thought he was just being a nuisance. So he picked up his pace and started running, sniffing around in the bushes and looking for food. Finally, he found a half-eaten sandwich and started tearing it apart with his teeth. It wasn't much, but it was enough to tide him over until he could get home and figure out a new plan to get back at the cat. When he got back home, he found that she was waiting for him on the porch. "Looking for more leftovers, big guy," she purred. "Don't bother. You're not going to find anything around here." "Oh yeah," the Chow Chow growled. "Well, maybe I'll just take your food then." He lunged at her, but the cat was too quick for him. She darted inside and closed the door, leaving the Chow Chow standing there, with nothing but his anger. He paced back and forth, whining and trying to figure out a way to get inside. But the cat had locked the door and was watching him from behind the window. "You can't come in here, big guy," she taunted. "You're too big. You'd just destroy the place." "Oh yeah," the Chow Chow snarled. "Well, maybe I'll just wait till you go outside, and then I'll sneak in." And with that, he settled down and started waiting. He waited and waited, but the cat never came outside. Finally, he got bored and decided to go for a walk instead. He trotted down the street looking for adventure. But wherever he went, he could hear the cat's laughter echoing in his ears. He walked and walked until he came across a park. There he saw a group of dogs playing, and he joined in. They didn't care that he was big or clumsy, or that he smelled like wet dog food. They just welcomed him and played with him until he forgot all about his troubles. Finally, when the sun started going down, he had to head back home. He walked slowly, not wanting the night to end, but eventually he got back to his house and found that the cat was waiting for him on the porch again. "Oh, there you are," she purred. "I was wondering where you went." "I had fun," the Chow Chow admitted sheepishly. "I played with some other dogs." "Oh, really?" the cat asked suspiciously. "And why is that?" "Because," the Chow Chow whispered, "because I'm too slow to catch you." The cat's eyes widened in surprise. She hadn't expected him to admit it, but in a way, she was kind of proud of him. He had finally learned that sometimes it's better to accept your weaknesses than to try and fight them. Together, the two animals walked inside and curled up on the couch. The Chow Chow may have been too slow to catch the cat, but he was big enough to keep her warm. And as they snuggled together, they both knew that they were lucky to have each other